that is close to home, right? Nike's in Portland. I'm in Portland. Everybody knows Nike. So I said, Nike does this incredibly well. They roll out a new shoe. What happens? Well, you turn on the TV and you see a visual display of this amazing shoe, right? Then you hop in your car, you turn on the radio. All of a sudden, you hear an ad for Nike's new product. You go to the doctor's office. You're flipping through a magazine. What's there? A print, right? A print advertisement for that shoe. Why? Nike doesn't know who you are. All they know is they want you. So whether you're going to connect in an auditory, kinesthetic, or visual way, they connect. Now, here's what's interesting about that. How do I apply this to your house? What I also know through study of marketing is that to create mind share for your home, and isn't that what you want? To create mind share for your home over your neighbor's home, or the guy down the street, or all the other houses in the market, I need to connect with the buyer probably around 8 times over 8 weeks. Where did that come from? MREA, right? I need to connect with that buyer around 8 times in 8 weeks. So my commitment to you is to connect with that buyer 8 times. Actually, I don't believe we have 8 weeks. I'm going to connect with them 8 times in 4 weeks. How do we do that? Through email. Email is incredibly visual, right? Through picking up the phone and calling every single day. And through direct mail, right? Your neighbors will know. Now, take a step out of that presentation. Where's the direct mail going, right? That's a question that we might have. Do you send postcards just listed? Yep, we do. Do you send print to brokerage community? We're going to come back to that in a minute. Yes, we do. You can demographically or socioeconomically use print marketing. So we're going to touch who we believe, and we're going to talk about this later, but who we believe your buyer demographic is about 8 times in 4 weeks. Because I think the first 4 weeks that we're on the market is ridiculously critical. Now here's what's interesting. I'm in the industry, and I see this happen all along. The majority of agents will come in here and list it, right? They're excited. They got your listing. And you might not hear them for 4 weeks. Then you pick up the phone and you start calling. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Guess what they do? Oh my goodness, they jump in. They're like, okay, we're gonna put it here. We're gonna send out this email. I'm gonna jump on the phone. Why? Because you said I'm not happy. See, we take that out of the equation and we're proactive in that marketing. We believe in marketing. So you can see we don't really have to talk about marketing anymore. We get it. We get it. Questions about marketing? Yes. Yes, awesome. Brokerage community. So the question was, what do I mean by the brokerage community? That's the next step. So I say, clearly you can see, right? Clearly you can see that we're going to connect with that buyer community. But here's what's so shocking to me. Do you know that over 90% of buyers have agents? 90% of buyers have agents, which means I have a different demographic to hit. It's agents. And it surprises me how few agents actually market to agents. Right? If 90% of buyers are controlled by agents already, then understand a huge portion of my energy, my effort, and my money goes towards marketing to agents. Here's how I know that doesn't happen. Last year, my team, again, this is me, so I'm kind of getting into character, but my team represented more buyers in this city than any other team. So if that's not you, adjust it, right? Here's how I know this. Here's how I know that doesn't happen. I represent a lot of buyers every single month. And you know what? In the last 30, 60 days, I can count on, right, it's probably 2 or 3 phone calls that I've received from other agents. Other agents saying, hey Chris, I just listed the most phenomenal house. You have to come and see, right? And roll that out. The issue is, agents aren't willing to spend the time or money on marketing to agents. Because it's not going to give them new business. However, we're missing a huge pool of buyers. So I would say, right, something fairly unique is we understand we have to hit that brokerage community. And here's what I do know. Brokers buy the same way buyers buy. In an auditory way, in a visual way, in a kinesthetic way. So if I don't pick up the phone, I don't know if I'm going to connect with them. If I don't send them some mail, I don't know if I'm going to connect with them. If I don't send them some email and get them some digital photography, I don't know if I'm going to connect with them. We connect with them in the same way we connect with buyers. Yes. The question was, do e-blasts work? Excellent. Do e-blasts work to other agents? Here's the answer to that. Yes. And what is my scientific statistical proof of that happening? Because it's worked on me. Right? We all use MLS, but did you ever get an email? And I know we don't love them, but did we ever get an email and we think, oh my goodness, that's pretty cool. I think that might work for, or hey, one of my team members is looking, and you send it along. They work. Keep doing that. And honestly, we have an obligation to our sellers to do it if we're connecting with the brokerage community. Cool? Now we're talking about marketing. Here's what I also know. And here's what you're going to find out about me. This is great if you're new, if you don't have a reputation, if you're not selling hundreds of homes. This is one of my favorite lines. In fact, this strategy started when I was about 20 years old and had never sold a house. Here's what you'll find out about me. My goal is to brand and market your home, not me. So in fact, right, you may see other agents on billboards, on buses, like they're all over the place. I'm gonna make sure your house is all over the place because I market and brand your home, not market and brand myself. I am proud that I am probably the best kept secret in Portland real estate. However, your home will not be. Established value creates some doubt. If you're a big agent, that works great. If you're a small agent, that works great. It's a critical part of what we do because it's again going to go towards the why. Why do we do what we do? I love marketing and branding. I love turning your house into lifestyle. It's going towards the why. And it's not about you then, it's about what? Their home, their product. I'm going to hit communication at this point. Here's one of my concerns for you as well. What we have found, it's interesting because you were referred to me, and I'll tell you why. I often have conversations when one person has had a bad experience with a real estate agent, and I need to solve that. But the number one thing I hear again and again and again in that situation is communication, right? They just didn't have communication. Who's looking? What do they think? Why are they looking? Why didn't they like it? So we're gonna have great communication. It's a commitment, it's a promise, and we won't leave here tonight before understanding how you want to communicate. Right? Email, phone, text, print, it doesn't matter. It's going to be tailored to you. But you have that commitment on my part to communication. Here's why you want to touch on that. It seems simple, but I will tell you, most people have had some experience with an agent. And what do you think that has been? Even if they're phenomenal. I've been guilty too, right? This is why this came up. If you make the commitment up front, you have to communicate. Yes. And what do you think their biggest frustration is if they had a frustration and they're sitting in front of you? Communication. Last thing I'm going to talk about. Now I want to talk about what's the most important thing, right? The most important reason why you should hire me. And quite honestly, other agents might market well. But the most important thing to think about when you're hiring an agent is negotiation. It's negotiation. The reality is it is probably one of your most important financial possessions and assets, right? We're sitting in it right now. And yet, I see sellers every single day choose poor negotiators. And I don't want that for you. Interestingly enough, I track that. I track my list price to sales price ratio. Why? Because I care. So at this point, if they've interviewed, I will always ask. I know you've interviewed a few agents. Did they bring this up? No, they didn't talk about it. Yeah, see, that's a concern for me. Because if they care, if this was really important to them, they would know their list price to sales price ratio. And I'll tell you, I don't want that changing on your home. We get about 99.3% of our list price, year after year after year after year. So what does that mean to you? Two things. One, I know how to negotiate, but two, I also know how to price. We're going to talk about pricing in a minute, but I know how to negotiate. Now, here's another concern. And this is great because who wants to have a commission conversation, really? Very few of us, right? And oftentimes we don't until they bring it up, and then we're trying to figure out what to say. many agents, just look at our industry, many agents have demonstrated their negotiation skill even before they walk out your door. What do you mean? Let me explain. Right? Commissions are typically 6%. However, agents are taking 5% listings, 4% listings. Honestly, I can find you an agent tomorrow to take your listing for 3%. I know them. I know them well. They'll do it. However, they've already demonstrated their negotiation strength, haven't they? Right? If they're willing to give up their equity of 3%, how much more willing do you think they will be to give up your equity? What's 3% of your equity? That's a lot of money. So be careful as you're interviewing agents. If an agent is willing to reduce their commission, they've already demonstrated, you might not want them negotiating on your sales price. And here's what's interesting about negotiation. People think, oh, it's just sales price. It isn't just sales price. You think your house is going to sell itself? Maybe it will at the price that you want. However, I negotiate when I first call the agent about your home, right? I'm negotiating price, being excited about it. Why do we pick it? I negotiate it when someone's going to see it. I negotiate when they say they have an interested buyer. I negotiate when they say they're going to write an offer. I negotiate when they send the offer that we don't like before I even present it to you. I negotiate when I go back at a counter. I negotiate when they have their inspection. I negotiate when the appraiser comes up. I negotiate at the last hour, right? When all of a sudden they want a price reduction for I don't know why. If you don't hire a good negotiator, there are probably 8 or 9 times that your agent may fail you. So hiring a negotiator is important. And I track it, and I watch it, and I care about it. I will tell you, if you just take that portion and do whatever you normally do and stick that 3-minute conversation into your listing presentation, people will think twice before not listing with you. Now, for sake of time, I'm going to go through the last 4 questions, right? So we're going to talk about pricing in a minute, but we won't, but you will at the house. I'm going to give you the last 4 questions of every listing presentation in our organization. Number 1, is there anything that we haven't discussed today? Is there anything that we haven't discussed today that you think we should? Be careful. Because maybe you didn't cover everything that the agent that was just here covered. Maybe they nailed like internet lead gen. That's when you dive into it. Don't dive into it in your presentation. Dive into it at that point. So for instance, if you know they interviewed, I'm going to dive deep right there. Okay, great. So is there anything that the other agent talked about that you think that maybe I didn't touch on? No? No? Awesome. Do you believe that I can sell your home? Simple question. We don't ask it, and I don't know why. Here's the deal. At that point in time, do you believe that I can sell your home? Are they going to say no? It's so awkward for them to say no. They won't say no. You could have bumbled through the appointment, and when you say, do you think I could sell your home? Like, they're going to want to say yes. They may even feel bad and want to say yes. They will say yes, and that's what you're getting them. You're taking them down the yeses. Next question. Other than choosing where to price your home, is there any other question that you have before choosing me to sell your home? Other than pricing your home, is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire me to sell your home? Don't be afraid of that question. You will know you have the listing at that question. At that point, talk about pricing. Cool? Here's what I'll do. We will send you our listing presentation if you want the PDF of it. It's on experiencegrowth.com. Just go there, grab a card, and you'll have it, or write it down. Experience is with an X. It is our brand, our expansion brand. That's really now we're in 9 states and 21. Experiencegrowth.com, 21 different cities. But I will tell you, our listing presentation is a system. It is a model. It is a tool. We have some of our partners here in the audience, and I would guarantee you that they all say it the same way, right? Slightly different, a little bit different conversation, but they go down this conversation path every time. Yes. Do I send out a pre-listing packet? No, not always. Do we have one? Yes. Here's the only time I will. I deal with a lot of people that are across the country, out of area. In that sense, I will send out a digital pre-listing packet. It goes through all those details. What I will say is when we do, it's easy to have that conversation that I'm sure you reviewed everything that we do. I only do that to make the conversation shorter. Fair? Cool. Thank you guys.